This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
And we begin at 5 with breaking news coming in out of the Metro East. Police there investigating a crash on Bond Avenue. That's in Cahokia Heights. Our crew on scene saw at least 2 cars involved. We're working to learn if there are any injuries and what the extent of those injuries are, if so. We're also working to learn what led up to this crash. Right now, police have that area blocked off. We've reached out to police to find out more information. Just as soon as we get it, we'll pass it on to you. Tonight, a former St. Louis alderman sentenced for taking bribes, now out of federal prison. Instead of being behind bars, Jeffrey Boyd is now at a halfway house. Thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Brent Solomon. Boyd was sentenced to 3 years in prison back in 2022, but he served less than a third of that time. Our Justina Coronel joins us in studio now to explain how he got out early. Justina.
Brent, Boyd started his sentence last January, and he's expected to get out this summer. It's possible he received credit for participating in a residential drug and alcohol treatment program, which grants a reduction in time. Court documents say Boyd self-reported he began using excess alcohol in 2019, around the same time his criminal conduct began.
Something that had happened to me when I was 19 years old in the military that I just never talked about. I never got help for.
Jeffrey Boyd admitted he used alcohol to self-medicate.
I drank a 5th of tequila every day.
He did this interview right before he went to federal prison in January 2023.
I was in pain. Mentally, I was not thinking enough about what was going on around me because of what is going on inside of me.
He said he was often under the influence when committing crimes in 2019.
Had I been in my right frame of mind, it just would have never happened.
In 2022, Boyd pleaded guilty for taking bribes from a local businessman. He went to prison along with former board president Louis Reed and former alderman John Collins Muhammad.
I own that. I just wasn't thinking. And I'm sorry again for that.
Boyd was just released from the federal prison on February 1st and transferred to the Federal Bureau of Prisons St. Louis Residential Reentry Management Office into a halfway house.
These aim to facilitate the transition of individuals from incarceration back into the community.
Kenya Brumfield-Young is an assistant professor of criminology at St. Louis University. She said these residential programs provide structured, supervised environments.
Many also offer substance abuse treatment and mental health counseling.
The professor added these programs can be a community asset
Because they do help reduce recidivism rates. And by integrating people into society and helping them with job skills, there's also economic benefits.
Boyd will also route the remainder of his sentence in St. Louis. He is still slated to be released in July.
Justina Coronel reporting. Tonight, some St. Louis city leaders are calling for more transparency from police. This comes a day after yet another St. Louis police cruiser crashed, this time into a church lawn. 5 on your side's Diamond Palmer in studio now with more details for us. Hey there, Diamond.
Well, Brent, the latest crash involving an SLMPD cruiser happened yesterday morning near the corner of Page and North Euclid Avenue in North St. Louis. St. Louis police tell us 2 police officers were in the cruiser at the time of the crash. Police say it all happened at 11:30 Thursday morning. As a result, the front lawn of the New Bethlehem Missionary Baptist Church was damaged. Police say no other vehicles were involved, and the 2 officers inside of the car suffered minor injuries. Now, there have been 7 crashes involving St. Louis police vehicles since December, including when an officer crashed into Bar PM in South St. Louis. Alderman Rasheen Aldridge is just one city leader calling for change.
Even though I know it's protocol on the police department not to do a toxicology report, I do think, especially as law enforcement, they're held to a higher standard. Not saying that they did anything wrong, but I definitely believe a toxicology report would help, especially when the community already has distrust, especially after Bar PM and that recent incident.
The department says the investigation into the circumstances of the accident is still underway. Coming up at 6 p.m., we'll hear from residents who say the intersection where the crash happened is not safe for drivers due to how many people speed.
Thank you, Diamond. Today, a former St. Louis police officer accused of shooting a carjacking suspect is now acquitted. Matthew Ernisi was indicted for shooting the unarmed driver several times in the back after a police chase. Ernisi says he feared for his life and thought the man was reaching for a gun. A court found the use of force to be justified. Tonight, St. Louis police investigating a deadly shooting in Midtown. Police tell us 2 men got into an argument in an apartment building on Olive Street. One of them pulled out a gun and shot the other. The victim died at the hospital. Police say the suspect is in custody. Let's get now to your weather first forecast. It's feeling more like summer today instead of winter. Meteorologist Jim Castillo. Now, you know what? I can't believe it, and just in time for Mardi Gras.
Yeah, and it will cool off for Mardi Gras tomorrow, right behind this front, Brent, and at the same time, out ahead of it, like you said, today's 69. But right along this front, a chance of showers and even thunderstorms this evening, and mainly south of St. Louis. But we'll watch this area of low pressure to the west of us here, and that'll be that energy that kind of lifts some of this moisture up into the atmosphere, and we'll watch for some spotty showers and storms popping up. So watching the radar right now, I saw one cell that dissipated. It moved from North County all the way into Madison County real quick and real brief. Nothing in terms of thunderstorms, but severe weather potential is there tonight, and mainly hail or high wind threat. And there it is, south of the metro, watching our southern counties for an isolated severe weather threat. And that future cast is showing 9 p.m. We'll watch late evening as some of this stuff gets developing, and we'll watch that as we get through the midnight hour, and then we cool off for the weekend. Much more on that coming up in just a bit.
All right, Jim, stay close. Mardi Gras is back this weekend, and I tell you what, it's almost time to let the good times roll. Saturday's celebration in Soulard kicks off at 11 a.m. with the Bud Light Grand Parade. 5 on your side's Tracy Henson spent the day in Soulard as the restaurants and bars brace for one of their busiest days of the year. Isn't that right, Tracy?
Oh, it is, and the residents too. They're all excited about it. Now, the tents and the temporary bars are out. The drinks are somewhere on ice. I've certainly seen a lot of ice deliveries as we've been out here in Soulard. And just a couple blocks down on South Broadway, well, it's a completely different view. Take a look. It's not Mardi Gras in Soulard without blocks of metal fencing. They are everywhere, from Busch Stadium to Lynch Street for the Grand Parade. Naturally, there are porta potties anywhere and everywhere they will fit, and Mardi Gras organizers want you to use them. It's a big weekend in what would otherwise be the doldrums of winter for bars and restaurants. We talked to the teams at Big Daddy's and Hammerstones. Both have been doing Mardi Gras in Soulard for over 20 years.
We've been throwing one of the biggest Mardi Gras parties for the last 24 years. And it's always a good spot to come and hang out with friends and get a good Mardi Gras feel.
It's just everybody's usually in such a good mood, and it's just a fun party. Just seeing all the people in the streets is pretty crazy. It's obviously, there's nothing like it.
There really is nothing quite like it. Now, I did ask both of them if they had any secrets for parking, and they were not willing to give them up. So the best advice for you is probably to take rideshare, or if you park down at Ballpark Village, there will be a shuttle that will take you into Soulard. In St. Louis, Tracy Henson, 5 on your side. And
that's the news we need to know, Tracy. If you have any more questions about Mardi Gras, go ahead and text the word Marty to 314-425-5355. We'll send those details to your phone. Big bets on the big game. We take a look at how people are gambling on the Super Bowl. And can tapping the elbow treat a heart attack? Posts online claim it can. Tonight, we verify.